I used to get a lot of professors ringing me up from all around the world saying, what you're doing is revolutionary. And I said, that's so tragic. It shouldn't be, because it's quite simple.
Yeah.
So my background, as they point out, my background not being in mental health could have been a bonus, because seeing something with fresh eyes.
Yes.
I remember that psychiatrist in the first group, she said, so what you've done is you've taken the work of Van der Kolk and Levine and blah, 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 and you've taken it to another level. So who are these people? Have they written books?
Yes.
So get
The
a pen
body
and
keeps the
paper.
score.
Get with pen and paper.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yes. So what is it? It's quite simple. My model of trauma differs from the mainstream. The way trauma is stored in my model is different. So let's say you have a traumatic event. And if we take away the word trauma and say distressing events, we get a much broader, more real view. So we have a distressing event.
We have no shortage of those these days.
No, it's the world is in an interesting place. So we have a traumatic event, and the usual things happen that we know what happens in the physiology. There's no dispute about that. The amygdala, the emergency services in the brain, goes off, and we go fight, flight, freeze. We release adrenaline. The systems in the body that are not required for the next short period of time while we deal with the current challenge are downregulated. We don't need to digest breakfast if there's a metaphoric tiger in front of us. We don't need to, we can do that later. We don't need to fight an infection. We can do that later. And so we know
We don't
what
need to solve
happens.
complex math problems. So
Yes. So the frontal lobe gets shut down.
Yeah.
Part of the frontal lobe shutdown is the hippocampus gets shut down. I'm pointing there because that's where it lives. And the hippocampus is a part of the brain that's largely responsible for long-term memory. In a regulated system, we find we're not lunch, not the tiger's lunch. The tiger has disappeared, gone on its way. Regulated system, the body just brilliantly does its own thing, comes back. We don't have to go for a 3-week yoga retreat in a mountain. It just, the body comes back. The heart rate comes down, respiration comes down, the adrenaline is cleared from the body. The hippocampus takes that event, puts it in the right file in the right filing cabinet in the warehouse of long-term memory, and firmly shuts the door. And we think, right, what's next on the agenda? And we get on with it. It's brilliant how it works. But in a dysregulated system, a system that's been under too much stress, in too much distress for too long, it doesn't do that. These systems, the digestion can stay turned down, the immune system can stay turned down, frontal lobe can stay turned down. For those who've been through a lot of stuff, you'll understand about craft. Can't remember a flippin' thing. And the hippocampus doesn't come online. So what happens is, in my model, that event is stored in the unconscious like a videotape loop. That event when I was 5, and this one when I was 8, and this big one when I was 12, and this one. And the unconscious runs every chemical reaction, every electrical response in the body. Thank goodness we don't have to think about it consciously. So what happens is it's running in the unconscious, and the body continues to behave as if it's happening. It's happening now, it's happening now, it's happening now. Like that pain.
Fall down
Maybe this
pain.
is just a memory, yeah. And so all we have to do to turn off the body's reaction to what it thinks is going on, which causes the body to be stuck in hypoarousal, in fight and flight, anxiety, fast heart rate, fast respiration, or shut down, hyperarousal or hypo with freeze, with depression, slow heart rate, slow everything, or more severe mental or physical ill health. All we have to do to turn off this body reacting as if that's happening and that's happening and that's happening and that's happening is turn off the top 3 most distressing events and tell the body and the unconscious it's over and I'm safe now. Van der Kolk and Levine agree 2 things have to happen to resolve trauma. The person has to be moved to an empowered position in regards to what happened, and the body has to know it's over. And I go further. I say, sure, empowered position in regard to what happened, but the unconscious that runs the body and the body have to know it's over. Yeah, I know it's over. And I'm safe now. And when you get to that, it's like a factory reboot on a cell phone. This is not simply memory reprocessing. What happens is the whole physiology is rebooted. So the digestion comes back online, the immune system comes back online. The brain changes function in absolutely predictable ways with trauma. And it comes back to normal brain. So...
Sounds like we all need this process.
Well, when you think we've all got stuff, and people would say, well, nothing happened. Well, it's not necessarily what happened. It may be what didn't happen. Like the client said, my parents were provided really well. They worked so hard for us. Excellent. And who did you go to for comfort? My bike. So, parents do their best, but it's part of the job description to mess up our children. And so, the emotionally unavailable parent, that lack, and so that becomes a insecure attachment, which is the basis of lots of suffering. So it can be what didn't happen, rather than great big events that were catastrophic.
Capital T trauma, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you faced. So do you want to just kind of give us a little, is it one session and you're done?
No,
do you have to do it over
3.
9 months? Oh, 3.
No,
Okay.
3. It's generally 3 steps in 3 sessions, longer sessions up to around 2 hours, about a week apart.
Okay.
And the main work is done session 1, session 2.
Okay.
So people generally experience positive stuff very quickly. And it's not for everybody. We do a thorough assessment because it's not fairy dust. Unfortunately, we
Hard
don't
work.
have fairy dust. It's not hard work, but it's not for some people. The first thing is if someone's motivated. As the great philosopher Seneca said, it's part of the cure to wish to be cured, no matter what you're doing. But, we ask a client or a potential client on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being I don't want to be well, and 10 being I'll do whatever's required. Where are you on that scale? And some people are not ready yet. And also,
You got to open Pandora's box. You got to look at the stuff that's causing you suffering. Which
but
is scary.
we don't revisit. We don't revisit what happened. You don't relive it. You don't have to retell the story, because in order to tell a story, we have to go back and relive it in our internal world in order to relate what happened. And so in retelling the story, it can be really triggering and re-traumatizing. So we don't do that.
So why wouldn't someone be ready then to heal?
I had a woman who came, and I said, where are you on the scale? And she said that she was pretty high on the scale of wanting to be well. And here's the next question: what's going to be the worst thing about being well? A lot of people get cross then. So, do you think I want to be like this? No, not necessarily. But let's be really brutally honest here. What's going to be the worst thing about being well? And this woman said, I'll lose my husband. And I said, why? And she said, well, we were actually separated and I awaited divorce, but I got so unwell he had to come back to look after me, to be my carer. And if I get well, he'll leave.
That's heavy.
And I said, well, you get to choose. Do you want to be well or do you want your husband? And she said, I want my husband. And I said, so why are you even here? And she said, he likes to see that I'm making an effort.
Oh, okay.
So there can be secondary benefits to being not very well. So we try and uncover those right at the beginning.